How do you feel about getting punched in the face? Does it inspire you? Does it fill you with entropic energy? If it does, then you might be a Vanguard.
I didn't know you were left-handed.
Change and decay are the only universal constants, and your understanding of these principles makes you a nigh unstoppable force of nature, a juggernaut, brimming with fundamental energies that allow you to hold the front line of any conflict and turn your own injuries into strength. The entropy within the universe and the level of chaos within any system stand at your disposal, and you channel them into potent combat abilities. To you, the inevitable decay of the galaxy is simply a force to shape, control, and even temporarily reverse. The ability to control when and how things will change defines your philosophy and your power, allowing you to transform blows that should have destroyed you into ticking time bombs of destruction, ready to be unleashed upon your enemies. Alright, how cool is that? That is the description for your Vanguard. Vanguard are one of the more tanky classes when it comes to Starfinder. I might liken them to space paladins, however, they do not have that disposition that most paladins tend to come with in being goody two-shoes. I mean, you could do one that's goody two-shoes. That's up to you. This class is definitely a frontline fighter. Now, whether you're using melee weapons or just your bare fists, that's up to you. But the main feature for a Vanguard is the entropic strike, and that can be used with your fist or with any weapon. First things first, this class. Holy crap, they've got hit points. So you're gonna start with 7 hit points. You also get 7 stamina points plus your constitution modifier. Guess what the key ability score is for the Vanguard? That's right, Constitution. So you're gonna have a boatload of stamina points. The Character Operations Manual book is making a suggestion that you take Dexterity as your secondary, obviously because you don't want to get hit and you might want to act in combat, so your initiative will be higher. What else can I think of? I mean, you might want to be able to hit stuff too, I guess. Next, let's talk about your class skills. There's actually quite a few here, and you're only going to get 6 ranks plus your intelligence modifier for your skills. There's plenty to choose from here, so you do have quite a breadth of options available to you depending on whatever your character concept is going to be. And lastly, we come to the proficiencies. No real big surprises here, however, there is an interesting choice. You get your light armor, you get your heavy armor, you also get shields. That's right, if you don't have the Character Operations Manual, they added shields as one of the items that you can actually use. It took Paizo several supplements down the line to make space shields be a thing, as I found out when I started playing the campaign when we didn't have the Character Operations Manual. And then of course for weapons, you're going to get your basic melee weapons, advanced melee weapons, and small arms. At first level, you're going to get something called the Entropic Pool. This is going to be your main Vanguard ability. For the Vanguard, you do have to do a little bit of resource management when it comes to your entropy points. The entropy points are built up in a various number of ways. For example, if you have none at the start of your turn, spend a resolve point and your movement phase, and you have a point. If you take a large amount of damage, for example, damage that is twice your character level, you will also gain an entropy point. Another interesting one on this one is if you take damage from a critical hit. So for you dungeon masters out there, if you have a Vanguard, make sure you let them know when they've been critically hit. For the Vanguard player, you need to be keeping track of these points. These are what you're going to use to power your Vanguard abilities. Speaking of which, Entropic Strike. This is a level 1 Vanguard ability, and it's going to be most likely your primary ability. Basically, think of it this way. You're releasing the energies that you have stored up within you, and it comes out as an extension of yourself. For the purposes of calculating damage, it is its own damage, so you do not use the weapon damage, you use your Entropic Strike damage. You can also use this basically whenever. Attacks of opportunities, anytime you can hit your foe with any part of your body or melee weapon. Also, it always targets the EAC of a creature. It also deals 2 types of damage that you get to pick from. acid, or bludgeoning, and it can also be both. This is basically only important for damage resistances, but this ability grows with your Vanguard as you progress in levels, and it is pretty decently powered, at least at the beginning levels. Also at level 1, you get to pick your aspect. This is the type of Vanguard that you are, and this is a very important choice because you only get to pick it once. There are 4 stages within each aspect. The first one you get at level 1, the next one you will get at level 4, then at level 12, and your final one will come at level 18. There are 6 aspects that you can choose from. All of them will allow you to build a fairly customizable Vanguard to be just the way you want it to be. Now we come to level 2. At level 2 you will get an ability called Mitigate. This is actually really cool. You can spend one of your entropy points, and if you take damage, you can do this as a reaction. You can reduce the damage by your Vanguard level to a minimum of 0. If you do this, you can't get any entropy points from that attack, but being able to reduce damage is really cool. Alternatively, as a swift action, you can also remove damage resistance from a target creature, and you can do some really funky things with AC bonuses. Level 2 is also when you get to pick your first discipline. Disciplines are some of the special attacks or special abilities that a Vanguard gets. You get to pick one every second level. For some, you do have to meet a level requirement, but really that's about it. At 3rd level, you get an extra reaction, and of course your weapon specializations for extra damage. At 5th level, you become more attuned to your entropic strike, and you get to add some special properties to it. At 7th level, you become extremely hard to hit. Basically, you become immune to flat-footed. If you get flanked, your enemies don't get the bonuses. If you're prone, again, your enemies don't get bonuses to attack you. And furthermore, covering and harrying fire do not provide any bonuses for your attackers against you. Remember how I said you only get to pick one aspect? Technically, I lied. At level 8, you get to pick a second one. And then you will get the first insight ability for that second aspect. And at level 17, you will gain the second ability from that second aspect. Level 11, you get flashing strikes. Basically, when you make a full attack, your penalty goes down from -4 to -3. At 15th level, you get uncanny speed. When you make a full attack, you can still make a move action. So Vanguards are quick little buggers. At 19th level, you start each combat with 3 entropy points. This is called Agent of Change. And then finally, as if it wasn't already powerful enough, the Vanguard at level 20 can just straight up become invincible for basically a minute. Vanguards are fast, they are punchy, and not to mention they are tanky, which is actually the source of their abilities. Currently, I have a Vanguard playing in my campaign that I'm running for some friends of mine. At level 1, the Vanguard took out all of the enemies that I had set up for an encounter that would challenge a party of 3. And the Vanguard did it all by themselves. This is a great tanking class. This is a great combat class. If you're looking for something to be on the front lines, take a few hits, turn those hits into rage or energy, and then turn that energy back around and just completely obliterate your foes, this is going to be a class you should take a look at. It's found in the Character Operations Manual, and I think I'm going to have a really hard time trying to kill the player who is using this class. Please check out this video list of other classes that I have done for Starfinder. YouTube will also make a recommendation for you here as well. Thanks for subscribing. My name's Nathaniel. You've been watching The Maple Table. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.